Hey guys, it's Lynk Plays Games. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to our life. Okay, so we are on Sandcastle. Cove wasn't able to do many things that summer. When him, and Silo sat out on the shoreline one bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water. But there was no way he'd be swimming anytime soon, not with his cast. Oh, poor Cove. The waves washed a single shell to shore, glittering and blue, another reminder of the places he couldn't go. Oh. From what you've heard about Cove's old life so far in tiny pieces and fragments, you could tell he'd do anything to be able to get the cast off. Like a pact with a witch or something, just to get it off his arm. You thought about how his summer last year must have been totally different from this, with his old home, his mom and dad. But now he was here with you, Silo, and Lizzie, and everyone else, and he couldn't even go in the sea. This town wasn't bad, it had all your favorite things in it, but sitting there on the same beach you'd grown up on, you could understand that not everybody else felt the same about Sunset Bird as you did. You watched him from the corner of your eye quietly, and he finally said out loud what you had been pondering. I wish I could go in. The water? No. A pile of pudding. Oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna be able to do it soon. Cove only sighed in response. Apparently soon wasn't soon enough. It's so pretty, the ocean. And huge. There could be anything out there, like mermaids. No. Swimming might be fun if we could, but it's not like there's anything we could do about it. Obviously not interested in hearing much more on your input on the situation, Cove turned back to the water. But as he looked away, something about Silo's slow, careful movements caught his eye. Hey, are you building a sandcastle? Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I'm listening. Maybe I could too. I've only made big piles before. It's nothing special. I'm sure you'll be good at it right away. Well, how do you do it then? Silo's cheeks lit up. You could tell he was a bit uncomfortable to have Cove's expectant stare on him. I'll play too. I love making sand stuff. He put his hands back to his seashells and sand and nodded. I don't do a lot. Here's how I like to get a house started. Silo, focusing more intently than you'd ever seen him, guided Cove through his process. You happily used your own method. It didn't take long for the three of you to each have humble structures prepared. That's all, kind of. You could do anything now, like make it bigger, add some seashells, carve a pretty pattern. I bet you have great ideas. Okay. I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine's gonna be a real castle. Cool, this is gonna be a house. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to make... well, we got a house, a castle. I'm gonna make a mansion. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to do what Lizzie would do and design a mansion. The better part of the next hour was spent focusing on your own work. The boys were the same. Even Silo didn't sneak as many peeks at everyone else as he usually did. Let me bring my mic closer. Sorry guys. Hopefully you could hear me just fine, but just in case. You finished shaping before either of them did, glancing up from what you built. It seems like you got done so fast because they already searched around for extra decorations. Silo had grabbed most of the really interesting stuff, and Cove had a lot of the shells, but there were still options. Hush. Hello. Pitiful baby. The first thing you reached for was a red bottle cap, blue seashell, piece of green sea glass. I'm gonna go with the sea glass. It was the best fit for your mansion, you decided. It was see-through and sparkly. You put it in a funny place so it would take a second look to see it. Pleased with your result, you finally took a proper look around that wasn't focused on the sand itself. Both Cove and Silo seemed super immersed still. You know, you could probably sneak a peek at either one's work. Hayes, you're pitiful. Hello, baby. Sorry guys, I'm having to pet her with one hand and play my game with the other, because it's a pitiful kitty cat. You checked out Cove's sandcastle. I'm gonna check out Cove's. I love Cove. Also, I had to steal Jello's hoodie because it's Cove. It's like a bluish green, and it makes me think of Cove's hair. Like, not bluish green, but like a light green-ish with a blue tint kind of thing. Almost like a mint green. I don't know. I don't know what color it is, but it's cute. It makes me think of Cove. And also Jello makes me think of Cove. Or Cove makes me think of Jello. Either way, the castle Cove had built looks surprisingly tidy. Especially for someone in a cast, he must have worked really hard. He wasn't even finished digging the huge gaping moat in the front, but it was already enormous. You got the sense from the enthusiasm he was digging with that the doctor was probably going to find a bunch of sand when he finally removed the pink plaster. The silence was then broken. What's on the top of your silo? You peeked closer and discovered something shiny sticking out of Silo's sand chimney. Oh, it's just a gum wrapper. It looks like smoke. It's good. That's smart. Yeah, I didn't think of that. You really know a lot about this. Silo smiled without a word, and that was for the current topic. Lynk, can I see what you did? Sure. He scooted just a bit nearer and began surveying your work. All you really knew about mansions was they were supposed to be big, so you'd gone really big. It was the size of the country club that Lizzie played golf at. Compared to Cove and Silo's buildings, probably even bigger. Silo quickly decided to jump in the new conversation. Hey Link, what'd you do? This is my mansion. Cove scowled for a moment. Apparently the anger was actually still there after his argument with Lizzie more than a week ago. Oh, sorry. It looks great, your house is so big. I guess mansions are really big houses. Huh? Is being a house bad? No, but we each made our own place. Nobody is the same. I think we are. Cove raised an eyebrow at that. Oh. If something is the only one of that thing, that makes it special. Yeah, for sandcastles and stuff. People too. My dad always says how everybody is their own man, a real individual. I don't think I'm very special. Oh, Silo, you are though. Also, I'm clicking your face, sorry. Why not? Nobody else is you. I'm not different. A beat passed between the two. Cove then looked down at his own work again. Okay. Look, it's Cove's hair. Haha, I have a side-by-side comparison. Or, well, I guess this elbow, this hand. There we go. Comparison. Jello should have not let me steal his hoodie. He didn't seem to be bothered, leaving the disagreement hanging there. Cove had other things on his mind. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Cove trailed off again. There was another moment of silence. Silo shifted and opened his mouth to say something, but Cove spoke up before he could. You didn't think that he'd notice that Silo was gonna talk. Hey, do you know what happened when your moms met my dad, Lynk? You waited to see if Silo would say what he wanted to. When he didn't, you considered Cove's question. I wasn't there, they didn't tell me. I just remembered what happened when I met your dad. Mr. Holden had been a weird stranger then. Well, he's still kind of strange. No other parent acted like him, but you knew him better at this point. Now that you thought about it, it made a lot of sense that Cove's dad talked to him about people being unique. You were pulled from your thoughts when Cove continued. Oh, well, I was there. I don't think my mom has met your dad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Lynk's parents and my dad met the same day I met them. I'm gonna say what happened. Silo frowned to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow over his face. You could still tell that he was upset at not being included in Cove's choice of topic. That was kind of boring for him, though giving people their own turn to say the things they want to is important too. I'm just gonna stay silent, because I want to know what happened. Silo could talk about other stuff after Cove had the chance to share what he planned on. When we moved here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us, only some stuff that would fit in Dad's car. We didn't even get a moving truck. I sat there while Dad brought it all inside. I didn't want to get out because I knew Dad would make me look around the new house, and I really didn't want to do that. His lips twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in a car too, stopped at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed and waved his hand and then went over to the front of your house where he started talking to them. I don't know what they said, I couldn't hear it. But he couldn't see me anymore since he was looking the other way. So I opened the car door and left. I wanted to get away and went behind the houses. I found those hills there, the ones where we met for the first time. Cove nodded, then stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything more. Aren't you gonna finish your story? Cove's brow wrinkled. He didn't understand why you were surprised. Huh? That's all that happened. Thanks for telling me. You're welcome. Even if not much happened, you weren't gonna complain about knowing the story. Silo's mouth twisted into a scowl of disbelief, but he said nothing. Why'd you bring that up anyway? There was a slight shrug of Cove's shoulders. Wow. I was thinking about it because of the Sandcastle. It made me remember when I moved here. Dad showed me the beach first before we went back to the car to unpack. He was really excited about it for some reason. Cove's brows furrowed a little more as he quietly raked his hands through the sand. I get it. You thought that maybe Mr. Holden wasn't that excited about the beach, but instead hoping Cove might be. But the line of conversation had come to its end. Even Cove was done with it. Some other topic had popped into his head. Silo fidgeting uncomfortably in the sand had made Cove aware of his presence again. They looked at each other, and you could only wonder what might this be about. Hey, Silo. Yeah. Why are you always turning so red, even when nothing is happening? Clearly startled, he jerked back. Neither you or Silo expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again. I don't know, I guess. Okay, it's kind of weird. The brutal honesty is Jello 100%, guys. The other day I said that I looked rough, and I sent that to Jello with like a selfie, and he goes, yeah, just a little bit. And then I went and got my hair cut, and then he told me I looked beautiful, so I guess I could believe that, because of his honesty. Silo's eyes were wide with embarrassment, his lip twitched, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this, perhaps it was simply the last straw, but it was a big deal to Silo, a huge deal. He didn't just look sad, he seemed almost panicked. You weren't sure if he was about to cry or run away or what, but you soon got an answer. Why do you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses, and nobody is named Cove. It was probably just your dad bugging Link's family some more, 'cause you don't have anyone else who will ever play with you. Oh, Silo snapped! Cove blinked. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in a way you didn't know how to laugh it off. It seemed like the kind of thing that he'd get upset about, though you hadn't ever known what kind of thing would bother Silo. I'm sorry. Me too, I was just wondering. Are we gonna build more? You want to keep building sandcastles? Yeah, okay. Cove glanced at Silo, whose smile hadn't returned to full power, then at you. Alright. What a relief. You were glad it was settled. You all went back to making more sandcastles, but the whole mood had changed. Silo's cheeriness had clearly gone, and Cove looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had a blow-up. The air stayed uncomfortable the rest of the afternoon, right up to the moment that Silo's mom appeared at the beach to take him home. At least you tried to do something to resolve it, though, and it seemed like it helped. Even though Silo's smile when he said goodbye to Cove wavered, it stayed as bright as ever for you. That had to count for something. But with Silo gone and the sun going down, you knew it was time for you and Cove to head to your own houses. The two of you trailed out of the park together toward the neighborhood. The walk home was quiet. You passed by familiar landmarks, shoes slumping against the sidewalk in near perfect unison. Cove was clearly caught up in thinking about something. Okay, ask him what he's thinking. Something was definitely up, so you chose to reach out to him and ask. Is everything okay? You're making a funny face. I was just wondering. Cove fell silent again for a few more seconds and sighed. Why did Silo act like that when I said he was all read a lot? He gets embarrassed. Embarrassed, but I didn't say anything that bad. It might have upset him anyway. I guess I can get it. Why would he do that? Sometimes I get really mad too. Despite seemingly coming to a conclusion, Cove's mood was still sour. Hey Lynk, was Silo telling the truth? Huh? His gaze left yours as he dug the sole of his shoe into the ground. He looked oddly vulnerable for a second. Does my dad make you hang out with me? I know he talks to your moms a lot about that. An uncomfortable weight settled in your chest at that question. You'd liked spending time with Cove. You didn't even have to think hard about it. You knew you did. But you couldn't help but feeling guilty. Cove still didn't know what happened when you met Mr. Holden. Nobody's making me. Cove's shoulders relaxed. You hadn't even... Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Anyway, I didn't think you were pretending. I just wanted to make sure it was okay, is all. Thanks for telling me. Your throat tightened. It was hard to meet Cove's earnest gaze again. Keeping secrets was hard. You're welcome. By now the two of you were on the sidewalk near your houses. It was time to part ways. I'm gonna hug him. You stepped forward and wrapped your arms around him tightly. You turned your head, resting your cheek on his shoulder. Cove stood there awkwardly with his hands at his side. He wasn't much of a hugger, but you didn't get the impression that he was unhappy that you were. Bye, Cove. See you tomorrow. Yeah, bye, Lynk. You pulled away, then jogged towards your house. When you looked back, you saw Cove making his way back home, too. As if he felt, sorry, there's a gnat, hello. As if he felt your eyes on him, he turned around, he waved, you did too. You still felt a little unsure with what you were supposed to do about the deal Cove's dad had offered. You didn't want to say something bad or something you shouldn't. You had no idea how Cove would take it either. It would be terrible if you made him feel bad. What if he didn't want to play with you anymore? You might change your mind sometime, but there was always tomorrow after all. But for now, it was definitely something that you'd keep to yourself. With a final look, you went inside your house. Alright, so I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.